Hello, writers. So I hope you all had a chance yesterday to look through those mentor texts and really study them. Like, think about what is this writer doing? How are they doing it? What could I learn from these writers, and how might I try it out in my own writing? So we've been going along on this journey of a personal narrative, writing, revising work that we've been working on, writing in our notebook a little bit, revising. Today, I want to show you guys that when you study and look at these mentor texts, you can't just say, oh, the writer's, is creating dialogue to show the kind of people they are. No, that's great that you're learning that, but you have to actually then try what that writer's doing to make your writing stronger. So today, guys, we're going to learn from our mentor text by first identifying what is it the writer's doing, and then we're going to practice and try out something that they're doing in our own writing. Because if you don't try it out, you're not going to grow and expand yourself as a writer. So I want you to try today. And I want you to think about your writer's notebook in a new way today. So I want you to think about it in a way where it's an opportunity for you to take some parts of your story, some parts of your writing, and sort of workshop them in your writer's notebook. So you have your idea of some of the things that you learned from these writers, but now I want you to take your writer's notebook today, find a part of your story or a part of an idea that you already have that maybe you're going to be working on writing a new story, and I want you to workshop that in your writer's notebook. So I want you to just try out something today that you learned from your mentor text. So I'm going to show you what I mean. I have a little bit from my story with the sea urchin and Julia, and I just selected a certain part of my text. I don't have the whole story. I just took one part of my text that is on my draft and I plopped it into my writer's notebook. So I just copied from my draft to my writer's notebook a part that I really want to maybe workshop and work on and try out something that I learned from the mentor texts. So I have here the part that's in my draft right now. As Julia and I stepped out of the ocean, I looked down and noticed blood trickling down her leg. Okay, so it's okay. Obviously if you see blood, you might think something, you might get nervous, you might get worried. But I don't have any of that here. So what I learned from Sandra Cisneros in the story 11 is that I learned that the writers show thinking by telling the exact words that the character is thinking at that time. And all I'm doing in this part of my story is looking down and noticing the blood going down her leg. So I'm gonna try out what I learned from Sandra Cisneros, and I'm gonna try to write my exact thinking. What was I thinking at the same time that this blood was going down her leg? So I'm gonna try out adding my exact thinking. So let me see here. How might that go? What was I thinking? I gotta go back to that time. Well, I mean, I definitely thought that this was serious. Um, so how could I say that? How could I say, um, oh my God, I thought, this is serious. Okay, I could say that. Oh my God, I thought, this is serious. So am I adding my exact words, my exact thinking? Yeah, I'm doing that. But it just doesn't quite feel like I've added enough. So what else was I thinking at that time? I was feeling like enormous guilt by letting her go out there. I wanted, as a mom, you want to give your children opportunities to show and show some of their independence and try things and take risks. But at this moment, I was like, oh my God, why did I let her swim out there? Ooh, that's what I'm gonna write. Why did I let her swim out there? This is all my fault. Okay, so let's see here. So I learned from Sandra Cisneros that I can show my own thinking by adding exact words and from exactly what I was thinking. Almost like it sounds like I'm talking, but it's talking in my head. So I'm going to read again from the beginning and then the part that I added on. As Julia and I stepped out of the ocean, I looked down and noticed blood trickling down her leg. Oh my God, I thought, this is serious. Why did I let her swim out there? This is all my fault. So I took a little moment and I added my own thinking and my own thoughts and feelings that I had about not only what happened to her, but how I've had this guilty feeling now because she got hurt and I let it happen. So I want you to see what it looks like in my writer's notebook. So this is the part right here in black that came out of my draft. I just plucked that part out of my draft and said, this is the part that I'm going to put in my notebook today and work on. And then this is the part in purple here that I did today, thinking about something that I learned from my mentor text. So what I'd like you to do right now is either with your draft that you have, that you've been working on, with an idea or a story that you have in your writer's notebook that you're thinking you want to work on, or maybe it's like comes back from one of your lists. I want you to pinpoint something from your own writing that you could workshop in your own writer's notebook today. So take a minute to really sort of go over. It could be your draft. It could be an idea, a seed story that you have in your writer's notebook, or it could be something that you are kind of playing around with that you want to try, and pick a point, not the whole narrative. Just pick one point in your story where you can use one of these lessons that we're learning from mentor texts. So take a minute to look over your work right now. All right, guys. So however you are working out these lessons that you learn from mentor texts, whether it be on the draft that you're currently working on, maybe you want to start a new draft thinking about some of these lessons that you learned from the mentor text. Maybe you want to pick a new story and just pick one part of that story from your writer's notebook today and work on that. Because it's one thing to learn something and it's another thing to try it. So today I want you to try out some of the things that you've learned from your mentor texts. On the Google Slides, you will see the mentor texts again in case you need to go back excuse me, and look closer. You also have a chart in the Google Slides that tells you some of the things that you might try out. So, excuse me, today, just take one little part, two little parts of your story and try out using one of these things that writers always do in their stories. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with. All right, writers, have a good night. Bye-bye.